my social media team informed me that there were a number of areas the public wanted clarified. I have captured some here, and some have been captured by Nabsai Wamboka, my press officer. One of the points people wanted to know was you have left the supermarkets open for food and other essential items. But you are not allowing private cars. How shall we get to the supermarkets? The answer is that, one, in Kampala and even upcountry town, there are many supermarkets in many of the suburbs. And where there are no supermarkets, there are other other shops, other type of shops which sell food. So the answer is that you walk to the nearest supermarket. Don't drive, just walk. Either to the nearest supermarket or to the nearest food shop, what they call store in the English of some other place. The idea, the reason we don't want cars is that these cars, first of all, when we had allowed the private cars, many of them had transformed them into taxis. And taxis were very dangerous because you would have the driver and two people whom initially we thought were family members, when in fact were passengers who paid somebody. So they were building a black market around that business of the private cars. But really we want this movement of people to be minimized so that we stop the spread of this problem. So if you walk from your home to the supermarket and back, and then the Minister of Health will have SOPs for the supermarket itself. Not too many people crowding at one go. Maybe you come like three, you shop, you go, another one come like that. That's the answer. But not cars, not cars. Don't bring the idea of cars into the equation because it totally undermines our effort. Except the other cars which are exempted, the other ones of ambulance and security and so on, which are controlled, which are monitored by the committee, the oversight committee, the one of the Prime Minister. But secondly, the other way to use the supermarket is to use home delivery systems. Your borders which have been running up and down, blocking the town, now can do some work by coming to the supermarket, picking something and taking it to you at your door. So these are the two reasons why the supermarkets remain open. Remain open, you can walk to and from the supermarket yourself. But secondly, the delivery vehicles, even borders, maybe even bicycles, I don't see why not. They can pick from the supermarket and deliver to you. That is the way we should handle the supermarkets, but don't bring in the idea of private cars again. Or taxis carrying people. Vehicles carrying people are the danger. The enemy are vehicles carrying people. Or even motorcycles carrying passengers other than the rider who is taking who is acting like cargo. Because you remember we exempted cargo, emigugu, whether by border or by pickup or by lorry or by train or by aeroplane, cargo. Because cargo does not carry the virus the same way the human being does. Passengers, no. Cargo, yes. This is the whole strategy. Now, on the issue of curfew, the curfew started today. It was not supposed to start yesterday. I made it clear that it would start today at 7 o'clock. The English way of counting, what they call 7. But in our language, we call it the first hour of the night. So it starts the first hour of the night up to sawa 12 n'ekitundu, what they call in English 6:30. Why? Because in these parts of the world, that's when it is dark. It is dark from 7 up to 6:30. And we don't want the curfew to be lifted when there is no light, especially in areas where there are no lights. Then the criminals will take advantage of it. Anybody moving in darkness would do so at his own risk. Be very careful, because if you are moving in the Rani, you may get into problems. Don't try to move in the darkness, because security forces will be out, and we don't want incidents. Last night, I forgot to talk about diplomatic vehicles. I think the committee and the Prime Minister would have to work with the diplomatic missions on this issue. But I don't see, I think one arrangement could be that a diplomatic vehicle having informed, liaising with the committee through Foreign Affairs, can drive to, as long as they have their diplomatic plates, to the supermarket and back to the home. No meandering, you're going here, there. Or from the residence to the hospital and back. But the committee can refine that. But me, I don't see any problem there. These vehicles are marked. They inform the liaison person in the committee. Vehicle of embassy number this is going from here to here. This message is sent out. Then you drive from the residence to the supermarket, spend there 20 minutes, drive back. I think that one really is, the committee will, we had not discussed it in our other meeting, but I don't see any danger there. Residence, supermarket, back. Residence, hospital, back. There are no other destinations now. There are no schools. You cannot say I'm going to school to collect school children. You cannot say I'm going to Foreign Affairs for a meeting, because Foreign Affairs is not organizing meetings. You cannot say I'm going to the national park for a holiday, because we have stopped all that. So I can see the only two destinations are just two. Supermarket, back to residence, maybe hospital, back to residence. So I'm sure the committee can fine-tune that angle of the diplomatic vehicles. There is an outcry for protective gear for health workers up country, even in Kampala here. I have already started talking for the medical workers, for the health workers. I have also been watching TV in countries like UK, even Spain. There's a big outcry by the health workers for the protective clothes. So I checked with the PS today of Ministry of Health. She told me of the arrangements they have made and they are making. I want it in writing because I want to be clearly sure about the source and the quantity. But we are also consulting with our factories to make many of these products here. Although I hear that one of them, N95, is patented by one group. So we shall see whether we can make a comparable one or get into an arrangement with that person, the one who has got the patent, to allow us to make it here. So that even if we are to import from outside, we import the materials to use, not the items themselves. But fortunately, I want to inform Ugandans, when I consulted the factories like Nyanza Textile, they seem to have the capacity. They just want the specifications which can be done by the experts. Do this, do this type of quality. Then also we have Murwana, the plastics, because some of the things are fiber-based, some are plastic-based, and we have the capacity of both here. So there's no reason why we cannot make this. So we are going to import on a big scale. When I talked with the PS, she told me about the problem they have been having, that many countries are ordering from China. So the orders are many. But I think there is some planes which are about to come, from what she told me when I spoke to her. So the health workers, we are really working on I'm also now involved on the issue of the protective gear. The gloves, there's what they call surgical scrub. I don't know what scrub is. Then these ones outside, then the masks, then all that. I have told them even to write for me the details. I have a document now, but we're going to work on it. You saw what happened with the sanitizers. Do not underestimate Uganda, because there was a problem of sanitizers. Now I hear that our people are making the sanitizers. Your former people who were making warrage for you have now become more useful. They are making sanitizers. The warrage which was killing you was 30% alcohol. Now these sanitizers are 80% alcohol. So please don't attempt to drink it. You will die instantly, because it will kill you straight away. It is the same warrage, but much stronger, much stronger. But this time doing a more useful work, killing the virus rather than killing human beings. So now the problem of the sanitizer is going to be solved locally. In the same way, we can solve these other problems of gloves and so on. Now, the other issue is the issue of the food for the vulnerable groups. I have not got a debrief from the Prime Minister's group, who are meeting today, but the idea is that the majority of the people in the country feed themselves. the farmers, they have their food in the villages. Many of the people in the towns are able to feed themselves because they have money, they have bank accounts, they have savings. The groups we are going to look at are the groups who are depending on, who are feeding themselves, but by earning daily. He or she earns something today and consumes it. And tomorrow it is the same. Every day, hand to mouth, every day, hand to mouth. And they were there, they were there. Now, once you stop what they are doing because of the health issues, where does he get food from? This is the group we are looking at. I don't know what the Prime Minister discussed with the group today, but I think tomorrow they can explain more. This is the group we are going to, these are the groups we are going to target, both in Kampala and up country. And they will be identified properly, and we can give them support maybe for a month or something like that until the situation returns to normal. But it will be done by the National Task Force because they will do it in a health-conscious way. Now, last night I warned the shameless opportunists. People who are really enemies of Uganda and Africa. They hear there is a problem, they want to make a name. You come, I give you food. You come, I distribute food. When you do that, people gather. And by gathering, you're actually killing those people. Because that gathering, some people have the virus, some don't have. So you are not allowed at all. The police will arrest you, whoever you are, and charge you for attempted murder. It will not now be illegal assembly, what you know the other game which we keep playing around. It is now attempted murder. Because you are trying to kill Ugandans by contravening the health. You see, we are dispersing people. We are saying people, don't send better, that's what we are saying. Don't come near me, don't come near me. Stay 4 meters from me. Now this idiot, you come, I give you food. You are an enemy. We are going to crush you. Just because of greed for power. They think that this will make them popular. They are going to end up causing the infection of somebody who was all right, but lured by this so-called food, they gather, and you go away when you have got infected. This is criminal. So that must not be tolerated even for one day. If you say you have got some contribution to make it to the task force. Go to the task force, say, I have got to contribute to the effort. Here it is. We can put you in TV, you can sleep there even. We can arrange a room for you so that you stay in the TV so that they see how you have contributed. And we know that you are a great man, but you don't cause additional problems. Last night I told you our friend Erumeru from Nigeria sent me yesterday $150,000, a check, and straight away I told my people, put this to the task force, to the health group. How many vehicles can 150,000 buy? So what I thought about immediately were these vehicles. Because we are trying to assemble vehicles which can help in the districts in all these places. And somebody said we can get about 3 very strong vehicles from the $150,000. four-wheel drive. So I have put this to the task force from Erumelu. The other day when I was in Mbale, the Chinese gave me 2 strong jeeps, brand new, which they want to assemble here. I have put them there. Anybody who has got a contribution to make, we can easily raise a fleet for this anti-corona campaign. Because like in Uganda now we have 4,900 factories. These factories are not poor. Many of them have been a lot of money. If each one contributes 1 vehicle, one four-wheel vehicle, we shall have so many vehicles. Because the districts are how many? 130? What are they? Huh? 130 what? 35. Wow. So now if we are to have even 10 vehicles per district, that means we need 1,350 vehicles, 10 per district. But the factories we have in Uganda are almost 5,000. So if each one contributed 1 vehicle, we would have more than we need. More than we need. So if there are people who want to contribute institutionally to the organized way of you contribute to the task force, your name will be recorded. You are a wonderful man. And it would also be recorded by God, because I don't know why these people never read the Bible. Because Jesus was against the Pharisees and the publicans who used to pray in public to show that they are praying. He said, when you want to pray, go into your house and close the door. That's what he said. Now, if you want to, but for us, we're not going to overburden you with Christ's teachings. We shall really publicize you. Say Museveni contributed so much, he's a great man, but do it institutionally, give it to the task force. If you try to go to the population again, you will end up in a special corona-free cell in Ruzira. We shall get a place for you there. And there will be no bail. We are not going to accept bail with all these games, because we are going to kill our people. Now, the other issues, somebody said yesterday, security people started compounding vehicles. It is true that when I announced the stopping of the private cars, it was already 9, and I said it would take effect by 10 o'clock. Of course, I was aware that there could be some confusion here, but I did it deliberately, because you see, what some people wanted to do was to hear that the government wanted to stop the private cars. Then they drive to, I am here in Kampala, I say, let me drive to Rwakitura, so that the ban finds me in Rwakitura. Now, by going to Rwakitura, I transfer the virus which has been here to the Rwakiturians, who up to now had no problem. So that's why we had to surprise you. Sorry about that. The idea was you stay where you are. We don't want to give you time to start running around. We do this because Ugandans are not yet very conscious of the importance of listening to guidelines. They try to cheat here, to cheat there, and in the process they cause a lot of problems for themselves and for others. Otherwise, if it is a population which understands the seriousness of this, I wouldn't, I would have given 12 hours notice. But I knew that if I did that, I may end up causing the spread of the disease even more. Because the one of Arua would try to go to Arua, so that by the 12 hours he's in Arua. The one of Victoria would go back. The people of Minister here, Achen, will be in Oyam. Now the language there have been having no problem. In Oyam, we have not heard of any cases there. Now, because of this stampede, you may hear that a case has now appeared in Oyam. So that's why we had to surprise you. So I directed the police, if you impounded any vehicles yesterday because of that ambush which I organized, and then people fell in the ambush, now I give them amnesty. You release their vehicles, let them go back, but they should not go anywhere. I give amnesty to those who whose vehicles were impounded. The police were right, because the ban was starting at 10 o'clock. They were right. But also the other people also were right, because they were not aware. And I was also right, because I didn't want to give warning. So we are all right. So since we are right, since we are all right, we just said, that's the end of the story. You get back your vehicles. Don't move. But I think we got what we wanted. The people were not given time to run north and south to beat the ban. My social media team were saying that some people were talking of mass testing. Mass testing is very, very expensive. Very expensive. And also meaningless, because you see, you may be tested and you are fine today, but tomorrow you get exposed. So it doesn't. It's very expensive, because I hear each test costs, is it $5? What is each test? Hmm? That each test is $65. So when you test 10 people, that is $650. You test 100, that is $6,000. You test 1,000, that is $65,000. You test 1,000, 10,000, that is 600,000. You take 100,000, that's 6 million, 6.5 million. So it's very expensive. And Ugandans are 42 million. So by the time you test 42 million, how much money will you spend? So that's why you cannot test. It is very expensive, but also doesn't resolve anything, because you may be negative today, but you are exposed tomorrow. That's why it is better to only test with signs. And the signs are coughing and sneezing and temperature. That's what we wait for. Now I'm told that up country, some of the health workers are running away from the suspects. I think this is because they don't yet have protective gear, and they fear to touch them. But with protective gear, they will be confident. We are demanding to hear from the Minister of Health these hubs. The hubs you gave me the list the other day. she says the hubs, the contact points per zone. Maybe after this, I will give her some time specifically to say something about that. Then there was also the issue of the categories whom I said had been exempted. They could go to work in cars, private cars or institutional cars. They were saying that they were arrested on the way today. That must be because the Ministry of Transport has not had time to put stickers on them. That's what I suspect. But once they have put stickers, it will be clear. Because the vehicles which are exempted will have to have special stickers. And I don't think they had time to put them on. Now, there was the issue about weddings. Because you remember, in my first broadcast, I had campaigned the Uganda-style extravagant weddings, which I called hexagonal, six-sided. The clan of the girl, the clan of the boy, the clan of the mother of Koja, then the clan of the mother of the boy, then the friends of the boy, the friends of the girl who went to school with her, then the neighbors who come to eat, the neighbors who come to assist in the eating. So you find the whole wedding. For me, I said hexagonal, but I think it may be more. So I said, but for that's very extravagant, and it puts the young people in debt for nothing. It is really a false value. People should learn to be economical. So although that was not the main point, the main point now is that those big groups spread disease, will spread this virus. So that's why we said those weddings are banned. However, we exempted that if you want to really be scientific, because marriage is not between clans, marriage is between two individuals. Number one and number two, the husband, the boy and the girl. Just two. Ario. In our language we say, Acher, Ario. Then, okay, I don't mind the what do you call this fellow, the best man. That one can be there. And the girl also needs a companion, the matron. Those are four. Maybe the two parents on the two sides, the father and the mother this side, the father and the mother that side, that's another four. And the priest. These are the most important. I don't know about these small children who carry flowers. I don't know whether they are really needed. So we had said with 10, you can go to the church and be wedded. And people seem to have picked it. But then last night when I said no meeting of more than 5, they said, but now what happens to our scientific wedding? But the 5 I was talking about were mainly our youth in the town here, who don't gather to not to marry anybody, or they just get together to play Ludo, to play Matatu. These are the ones I'm saying, please keep your group to 5. But for the other weddings, with the 10 you can continue. In the church, it is 10 people in Namirembe. One can sit there, the other one can sit there. There's no problem with the weddings. These are the points I had picked up from the social media. I don't know whether Nabusai Wambok has got others that I left out.
Yes, Excellency. Your Excellency, there's the issue of calling RDCs for clearance to travel that you referred to. They say the RDCs are difficult to access and they also don't answer calls. Can they use LC3 chairperson or LC1 chairperson? The other thing is that during emergencies, you touched it, but they say the banks are closing because the staff can't go to work without driving themselves there. Can they use their vehicles with the 3 persons guidance that you gave before to access their work in the banks? Because they said people can't go to the banks because the banks are closing. Your Excellency, the other issue is about the public servants who have refused to surrender their vehicles, like you directed at the district level. That most public servants have refused to surrender their vehicles to the district health officers. And they gave the example of the LC5 chairperson of Nyangabu, who slapped the RDC for trying to enforce that directive. And some civil servants have surrendered vehicles, but they've withheld the fuel. And they say the cows don't have the budget for the fuel, but the vehicles are there. What are they supposed to do with those vehicles? Your Excellency, the other thing, this is from Gulu, actually broadcasting hosted traditional leaders, and they allegedly told them this disease is Gemo. They actually word for evil spirit, and that they are mobilizing people to go and bang people's doors. Your Excellency, they want you to caution the media against fear-mongering people. Your Excellency, about emergency services, are the media also part of the emergency services? And if they are, how do they access their places of work? The media, the media, yes, Excellency. Your Excellency, the other thing is about construction sites. You clear that construction can go on as long as workers are encamped. But Your Excellency, they say that the hardware shops are closed, and that's where they get their material for construction. What do they have to do? The last one, Your Excellency, this one is mainly from the upcountry stations. They request you to translate some of these messages in either Nyakitara or Luganda, Your Excellency. Thank you very much.
Now the RDCs will have to put dedicated officers. That one is those are organizational issues. That's what I keep telling you. You need to separate leadership from the secretariat. Because like now I'm here in a meeting. If you ring where I am, I will not be there. So you cannot say that ring the president's office, you must get Museveni. No, Museveni will be in a meeting, but there is somebody who is there all the time. In my case, it is switchboard. But and even if I'm not there, when I go back, they will give me the list of the people who rang. Of course, the switchboard are not decision makers; they are just people who get phones. But you can put officers who don't leave. So the Minister of the Presidency is here. She will tell those RDCs, put dedicated officers who are on the phone all 24 hours to answer. If you say we decentralize and involve LC3, then LC1, that will be chaotic. I still insist it must be the RDC, but the RDC needs to reorganize his office or her office to have people on duty all the time. Here in State House, there is an officer on duty, an army officer on duty. Yeah. When this one finishes, another one takes over. There is an officer on duty all the time. So we need, the RDCs need people to man those call centers all the time. But to take it to the sub-county and so on, it will be chaotic. They will answer. They should be there they have people whom they can put. They can put some of the officers at the district. They can pick 2 or 3 who work in turns. One work for 12 hours, and another one for even in the night. They should be there. No, the banks. The confusion was just because we are starting. The people who are working in the banks will get stickers on their cars from the Ministry of Transport. Once that happens, nobody will stop them. But for the customers, I wouldn't want to encourage driving. It's the same like a supermarket. I wouldn't encourage the driving to the bank. This driving should stop. You can either walk to the bank or use your mobile money, because mobile money is now available these days also. And I don't know, can I not ring my bank and somehow without going? Don't we have those arrangements? Huh? Yes. So either walk to the bank and back, or use mobile money. But for the workers, the few managers who will be working, those can have stickers on their vehicles, and they will not transport anybody. After, they should be told to only go alone in the car, so it will remove the other temptation of converting relatives into passengers. You see Museveni with 2 people in the car. You think that one is Natasha, the other one is Patience, when in fact these are Hajat so and so, Hajat so and so, who have paid me an exorbitant price to drive them around and say I'm going to the bank, when in fact I'm transporting. But those unchristian behaviors and Muslim behaviors of cheating are not our big problem. Our big problem is spreading the disease by Museveni transporting 2 Hajats, claiming they are his daughters, when in fact he has just picked them for money. And in the process, this one has a virus, or me, I have a virus, I give it to them, and so on. So that's why it should really be, yes, the bank managers can drive to and from the bank, but it should be 1 person in the car. I think we should clarify that in the SOPs. It's no longer 3, because the 3 was abused. The 3 was abused, because the idea of 3 was we thought you were going with your family. But people turned it into a business, into a new taxi business. Public servants who have refused to, they cannot refuse. They will just be arrested. There's a place called Ruzura. You have heard of that place? Nausai. They will be arrested. And the one who slapped RDC will be arrested for the 2 things, for slapping a Ugandan. Should be arrested. Yes, they are idiots. They are idiots. They are drunk with what? I don't know. Is it power or what? What are they drunk with? You can tell me. Because you don't have the power to beat a Ugandan, you will go to jail. Huh? There's no way anybody can refuse. Media, yes, media is a service. It's one of the services that we should continue. It's like electricity, more or less. Son of Sai is a very important person, like electricity, like water, like medical. Okay. So, their vehicles also will get stickers. It's just because we are starting, we shall be more organized. That will be handled by the Ministry of Transport. construction sites will be open, but the hardware shops are closed. Let's first study that also. We are saying that if you have enough material, you continue working. Because we don't want to touch too many things. You know, when you touch too many things, then you get lost. Because we had said the shops to keep open are the shops of food and medicine and what else? And agricultural things and veterinary things. Now if we add cement and so on, let's see. So if somebody has got materials to use, let them continue. If they don't have, but let them leave us for these 14 days. That will not be the end of the world. But now to start fitting and going for the barbed wire and for the what, and it will be too much to manage. No, the actual cultural leaders, you tell those leaders they should stop that. I don't want to put in jail cultural leaders. But they should be warned very clearly to stop that, because when you try to oppose science, we shall go against you. I have got my friend Bishaka. Bishaka is a religious man in Chivari area. He's called Obsobozi. Bishaka. We became friends now. We are very good friends. You are one of my biggest supporters. His followers are my biggest supporters. But in the 1980s, he told people not to go to hospital because he said he had medicine or something like that. Somebody died. I locked him up. And that's how we became friends. We became friends from that connection. So, nobody should go around saying that this is joke. This is not a joke. This is what do we call this in our language? This is tuo. This is not a joke. It is tuo. It is a disease. It is not a spirit. It is a disease. You can see somebody sneezing. You can see somebody coughing. It is not spirit. It is a virus in a person. So nobody has a right to say that. So some of my people who are here would have to send a word to my minister of the presidency. Would have to talk to Rota Chana, the head of the Acholi groups, to say, please, we have had this. Tell those people to stop that. Okay. Anything else? Anything you have forgotten? The information we have now is that yesterday our people tested 82 samples. All of them were negative. Today they tested 176 and 11 were positive. And these were all children of the Watoto choirs who were still in the quarantine. And obviously they picked it from outside where they had gone. I don't know where they had gone. So there is some, I can see some success, because you see the quarantine has blocked many people who would have entered the population. Because out of these, because now this makes them 44, makes our our positive people, 44. But how many of them were in the quarantine? How many? Of the 44 who are now confirmed, how many had been trapped in the quarantine?
All except 5.
Except the Chinese. But even the Chinese were also put under quarantine when they escaped. Mm-hmm. The man of the child of Iganga and the Hoima, he never came. He was, and Ajumani.
But they were in their own house.
Mm-hmm.
The woman and the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
They were in their house.
And the baby of Iganga.
Yes.
Those are how many? They are like 5 or 6.
5 excellent.
So all these 44, many of them were in the quarantine. 39 almost. Only 5 were out. So the quarantine has worked because these are people who are not allowed to mix. Only that some people had gone through before. That's what we are tracing now. So I thank you and I wish you good luck. Yes?
Excellency, on the point of the RDCs, connecting with issues of emergency, what the public was raising that in the cities and municipalities here, the RDCs are community. But when you go to the rural areas, an RDC may be very far, and you get an emergency like a lady deep in the village who is pregnant and might wish to go to a hospital to deliver, but the RDC is very far, and yet there is a private vehicle which in their village they could use to deliver that person. So, but because we have said they should not use it, then they will not use it. That's an example of what they gave. Probably you could give an explanation.
You see, the RDC is not far because the telephones are there in Uganda now. Because we want to assemble the response vehicles at the district. If there are some in the villages, they can also be declared and lent to the district task force. Because what we don't want is now people now claiming to be doing this, to be doing that, when in fact, so you can work out a detailed way of how the people can ring even the Gombora chief or the LC3. You can have a relay system. You can have officers on duty at the sub-county to receive emergency. The same way like I have my office on duty here. SFC office is on duty. This one is on duty. When he goes away, another one takes over. You can have the same at the sub-county. You people in the whole sub-county, if anybody has got an emergency, you ring this number at the sub-county. And you can use the officers who are there. There is a community development officer. He can be on duty for... three chairpersons, those are leaders. They cannot be on duty. It should be officers. You can mobilize those people like the agriculture officer, the CDO, the intelligence officer, the GISO. They can be on duty in turns. You can create a structure where they ring to the sub-county rings to the district. you create an emergency structure, 24 hours. I am on duty 12 hours, I finish, another one comes in. Then people who don't go away, because they say, this is difficult to get. Yes, because he's not on office all the time. He is not on phone all the time. But he can delegate. He can create a team at the district, and then at the sub-county, on duty 24 hours. They bring, what I want is coordination. What I fear is to say, you do what you want, because that's what will now result into people jumping into vehicles and running around with no good reason and cause infection. Because remember, the main thing is infection, oxiga, to infect. So you create an emergency 24-hour structure at the sub-county and at the district, using the people who are there, because they are there, all these officers. Anybody who doesn't want to take on extra duty, sack him. Because it's an emergency, we mobilize you. You are agriculture, but now you come and be on duty for 12 hours. After 12 hours, you veterinary, come and be on duty. Then tomorrow, maybe you work for half a week. Then after half a week, the CDO, you are the one on duty. The Gombora chief, you can also, you take turns.
We had many people in the offices of the deputy RCCs, and we feared they could cause further infection by the many. So we held a meeting, and we agreed to use the ward, the telephone, the ward administrator, which is at the parish. It's like the parish. The village chairperson and the ward can call the RDC, and then the RDC
can call the people put there by the RDC, because the RDC may not be there herself.
Exactly. So the RDC, the RCCs and deputy RCCs have worked on a formula with the ward the ward people and the LC through telephone, and it's working.
Yes.
Yeah. But with the clearance of the RCC and the deputy RCC to avoid also the crowding.
Because the secretariat will be, these people will be there with the guidelines.
Yes.
But the guidelines are simple. You only respond to two emergencies, either health or childbirth.
Yes.
What other is there? Only those. When somebody has suffered from a heart attack, somebody has been bitten by a snake, somebody is in childbirth, that's all. Other issues, the house has caught fire, that one we can sort out later. This one has beaten his wife, those will not take it. We're just dealing with just a few things. Life-threatening, childbirth, snake bite, heart attack, finish. What else are they there? Those are the only few things we are dealing with. We are not dealing with all problems. Somebody is drunk and has beaten his wife. No. When you ring me, I'm on duty, I said, you finish that one there. You finish that one. Okay, thank you very much. Yes?
So we had a meeting on the wider security sector interagency task force, and one of the members said you had not talked about the judiciary and the DPP's office as agencies that needed to be exempted so that they can go to work.
The judiciary, I didn't talk about. I think that one we need to think about, because you see the judiciary. No, I think they could work. They could be added on only to receive new cases. we had actually discussed that with the CJ. I'm sorry I didn't add it on. I think it can be clarified. You can have a few people like the registrars who go to office to receive new cases and record them. But the court hearings, I'm sure, are suspended because those are very dangerous, because that means would involve calling witnesses, calling this, which would totally defeat the whole thing of the quarantine. So, but if it is somebody to come and say, I now come to launch a case, to lodge a case, and to go away, I think that one should be provided for. That limited service of recording new cases. And once they are recorded, especially if it is like assault, then the police can come in to go and investigate before the evidence dies away, before the evidence dies. So lodging new cases can continue, but not hearing and adjudicating, because that would involve too much movement. Okay? Thank you very much.